Welcome back to the Press Club, and thank you very much for staying tuned. For those of you who have invited us into your homes, into your living rooms, you thought I would have missed that part, huh? Into your dens, into your kitchens, wherever you have a television, even your bedrooms, and those like Kami who is so caught up.
Yeah.
Oh, you're anti-television?
I am anti, but I actually...
She might have a television in the bathroom.
I have joined the club.
Yeah.
I have to say.
So
Last year, I joined the club.
Those of you who have us anywhere in your house, we appreciate it as you stay with us as we analyze and break down the news for the past week. Now, the police reported
the drug bust
this week, this major drug bust, 109, I think, about kilograms of cocaine on board a yacht. Of course, they got a tip. Otherwise, they would not go
because the whole idea is he has a yacht. So you were going to assume that he was on his way to one of the marinas in the country, the Marigo Ronnie. Before we know, he's probably a regular visitor to St. Lucia.
So what are you hearing about that? And it's a 68-year-old French national.
The police never officially tell you if it's a tip that they received.
But it must have been a tip for them to
all they
go on
say
board
is that
yacht.
they intercepted the yacht off the coast of St. Lucia in the northwest area or something like that. And that they found a 68-year-old man on board, and that they found a substance they suspected was cocaine, and they arrested him.
But it sounds like they just went and bought the yacht.
They just happened to go on that yacht,
and they saw it there. Oh wow! I see black plastic bags. They wrapped up.
No, they had to look for it. I mean,
no. From the pictures I saw, they had to
dig into it,
open up stuff, take out panels and stuff, and see.
That's why I think that either he may have been here before. And somebody may have, because if you aggravate the wrong people in this country, you just never know where you might end up. If you're involved in that kind of business, I would assume. I don't really know. But I mean, he actually made his first court appearance on Friday. And he has since been remanded to Bordeaux. I think he's supposed to come out to court either this week coming up or the next week to answer to
$2.5 million. I can do $2.5 million. Well, not drug money.
Cocaine to get it, though.
Money at all, but
just the cash.
I can do it $2.5 million. But I mean, it's just so sad. There are a few things in there for me.
Yeah.
It's just so sad that a 68-year-old
man. Everybody's saying that. I mean, you're an old man. What are you not doing in that business? Yeah. Obviously.
Running drugs, between islands or wherever he came from.
Yeah, and now you're actually in a foreign country, in a foreign jail.
Right.
You're an old man. You hold up in Bordelais. I mean, you're not even in your own country serving time.
And you should be hanging with your grandchildren, watching them grow, contributing to their development and stuff, and you're running drugs.
And cocaine this is not marijuana. We're talking about cocaine here. This is a very serious drug.
Yeah, it's drug. It's a hard drug. It's not like the marijuana guys that
which
say
they argue it's a herb, it's a flower.
Yeah, it's a flower.
It's natural.
It's not a flower. It's something that has been processed, and your intent was to supply. You're not just carry 109
All I know
kilos.
is there is somebody in St. Lucia who's very upset because they lost a huge shipment of cocaine.
That's 2.5. Now, the second thing for me is, we're celebrating 109. Yes, of course, it's good that we took out 109 kilograms of the street.
How many got through?
But that is just a tip of the iceberg.
Because let's not forget,
you know how much cocaine passes through our waters every day?
If you're selling cocaine, you up north would be the right place to sell it, I would imagine, because that's where the tourists are. So you'll be able to get a clientele for it there quite easily. And because you could just go up to the marina, dock your boat, and do whatever you're doing there. I mean, when you come into the marina, when yours come into the marina, do we have police go on and check to see what they have on those boats?
I doubt all the time. I mean, I found I was at a particular marina, and I found it very interesting how easily
you just come in.
Someone dropped me off there, and I made my way to my vehicle. I'm like, wow.
Shouldn't they come to ask me where I came from, where I'm going?
Shouldn't that?
Because if you're coming in on the airport,
be manned by someone.
You checked by people before you go in or out.
Yeah, I found it really odd, and that was some years ago.
Because there are a bunch of houses along the waterfront. If you own a home and you own your own private dock, and you've taken your yacht out to come back in, nobody's checking your yacht to see where you came back in with.
I don't know how they monitor, but I'm like, this is so simple. So if people are transporting or trafficking drugs, hey, is that easy?
Well, let's not say.
And we have open. No, but it's true.
Well, let's
we have
not
open
people think that
porous borders.
We're not saying those people who live on the marina, but who have
no. That's not what we're saying.
We're just saying that it is scary if you think about how easy it could be to transport this stuff back and forth.
Right, and if you're in that business, you will position yourself
And I hope we're not giving anybody any grand ideas either of a second career.
You know, probably we give the police some ideas to get some people on the water, you know, and monitor it, you know. But
that's an interesting story to pursue next week. If you coming into the marina or anywhere, is there an actual person who's checking you when you get in there to see what you have on board?
You know, there should be a checkpoint into every port that we have, and we,
as I said, we
have open borders because even though it's not a port, quote unquote, but then we have various coves and bays all around the island. I mean, you hear about Praslin all the time. People just come in there. You have Dennery, you have all these areas that are just open.
You have a Babonneau, Laguerre, those places are just wide open. You just drop something off and...
You know, there are places everywhere, you know, the less trodden path, or how do they say it?
I have no idea.
Yeah. Places where people don't normally go.
You're showing off your English major there with your less trodden path or whatever.
English major. Okay. Yeah, but it's something for us to consider seriously, because it affects our society.
The police, though, because I mean, you know, that is pretty impressive to hold that kind of huge cache of drugs.
But they said that's one of the biggest busts. To me, they busted someone
probably on land, but not on water. I know that there was a big thing in Rodney Bay, but it wasn't that big. But huge. I mean, they have had these huge busts, but not really on water. Maybe on land. In apartments and stuff like
any bust is a good bust.
Exactly.
You know, when you can take off the drugs from the streets and our people
can be safe,
are less under the influence, if that's such a term, you know, that's a good thing.
It's a good thing. Yeah,
so 109 kilograms of coke. That's not 10. That's not two of us sitting down and cutting lines.
But you saw it. I mean, in the press conference, ACP Henry actually had, and you see how that looks, to have it all lined up there, well packed up. I mean, this thing was done, looks very professional to me, you know, how it was done. So it's kudos to ACP Henry, of course, who's the crime chief, and Vernon François was the police commissioner, and the Marine police and all the other police officers who were instrumental in getting that cocaine away from its destination.
Yep. Hopefully we'll have some more busts very soon, you know, more tips, and we can, because he's not the only one.
He cannot be. He's 68 years old. He must have been younger than him doing it.
Well, of course, you know, and there was this story recently in Antigua where this St. Lucian was busted.
Yeah, St. Kitts. When the two St. Lucians from Marigot were busted with it. But I think that was coke. That was weed. I think that was it marijuana or cocaine?
I think it's coke, man.
It's cocaine? Yeah.
The boat was seized and everything. Yeah. So they were serving time there. Next story, Kentry Japierre.
Dr. Kentry Japierre.
Dr. Kentry Japierre. He has moved on to the Ministry of Creative Services, Creative Industries, Tourism and Creative Industries, and he's responsible for creative industries. He was formerly at the FRC as Executive Director. He has been a cultural activist for a while, so
long-time cultural activist. Yes.
He became a senator, you know, following the
resignation of Dr. Raymond.
The normal protocol, you become a senator, and then, you know, after a while they say, oh, well, he's a parliamentary secretary.
Yeah.
You know?
It was funny because we had been hearing the rumblings of this appointment coming. But I have to say that when we actually got the confirmation, I did not see coming. We'd been hearing, but we hadn't got the confirmation. And
I don't know. I didn't see that coming.
No, we'd been hearing about it, and then the funny thing is, on Friday we called the FRC thinking he might still be there to get a comment, and they said he no longer works here. I thought it was jarring to hear them say it literally about an hour after you could get the missive from the press secretary that he sent to the Ministry.
Yeah, and that missive, as you put it, from the press secretary, it was just a couple of lines.
About 4 lines.
Yeah, Dr. Kentry Japierre has been appointed as Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Industries.
And he replaces Dr. Wallace Raymond,
who
resigned to go to the Turks and Caicos Islands.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a very, strangely enough, the reaction to it,
I was very
nobody has been able to give a reaction. They just been like, huh.
No, you see, and these are things that we need to challenge. Challenge in the sense that, you know, we should demand more information. That's all.
In terms of...
That's all we deserve as a people, that, okay, Dr. Wallace Raymond has gone, and Dr. Kentry Japierre is now whatever. What will his role be? What is he charged to do within that ministry as the Minister for Creative Industries? What is his purpose, his function? Why are we paying him? You understand? What skills? What skill
Is he
set
bringing
does
to
he
the
bring
table?
in
No,
to that
and
ministry
one
that
of the
will
things
warrant
that we
him
have
being
to think is
the
about,
parliamentary secretary?
first of all, this is the first creative industries ministry in St. Lucia.
Right, exactly.
And as far as we know, the skeleton and the meat of this ministry is still being developed. I mean, there are two consultations. There are two consultants right now working on it. We have Christopher Hunt and Yves Renard, who's more known from Laboe Promotions.
Right.
And they were actually trying to figure out this whole thing. So one can only assume that as a cultural activist working at the FRC with a number of master's degrees, because I mean, they did not his extensive bio when he became a senator. So you have an idea of his educational background. And he was a former president of the Teachers Union, of course. He's a well-known, respected teacher, former teacher. So you know all that. But I see your point, the whole idea of what will he be doing in that ministry. And I mean, because in announcing his appointment, we made a point to use a snippet, a clip from former Senator Evarista Jamari, who was a guest on New Perspectives with Teddy Francis. And he made the point that he wasn't speaking about creative industry, just speaking about the Ministry of Tourism specifically, and he was saying that the minister, who's a Choiseul MP, Lon Theophilus, was ill-placed in that ministry, that he thought that somebody with more experience needed to be there. He thinks that the minister doesn't have the experience or wherewithal. He seems to be over his head. So that being said, Mayor, 2 weeks before you appoint a parliament secretary to take over, to more or less take over one of his ministries, makes it look like maybe they're trying to make him focus more on tourism. But all of that is speculation. You don't really know what is fact and what isn't. Is he going to be in charge of to the point where he'll be the one in charge of it and the minister will no longer have oversight over it? Or will he simply be assisting the minister in trying to put it together, to design it, and then the minister and him together will work it out? Because that ministry also has a PS with Donovan Williams.
Right.
So,
but what it is for me too, and I might be wrong, I might be totally off my rockers on this one, but I'm looking at the FRC. I look at organizations like the FRC, and grassroots organizations, somewhat.
Somewhat. I mean, even though they are government funded, for the most part, it's an activist kind of thing.
But my thing, Kami, is can you look at the FRC and say that that organization under Ken Treasurer has made a significant impact on our culture, has made a significant impact on St. Lucian society? And if you cannot say that this has happened, then why would you take this person from there and put him into this bigger ministry? Do you expect that because he's in the ministry that you'll get a greater impact? I don't know. And to me, these are the questions that we need to ask ourselves. There are multiple questions there as well. As a public, as a society. Because
while he has resigned as the FRC executive director, who now replaces him, we don't know. That's the first thing. Second thing is, this is a new ministry, creative industries. And I don't even think St. Lucians even know how to define creative industries. I think for the majority of St. Lucians, it's just music. It's just soca music, it's reggae music. They don't see, it has actually a lot different. It's dance, it's poetry, it's drama, it's a lot of things.
Art.
And so you look at it as, because he is a cultural activist, La Rose, La Marguerite, trying to preserve our traditional culture, Cessendès, Cat Frank, Norville, will he be able to take that and incorporate the new stuff and put it all together to make a bouillon that is St. Lucian creative industries? And maybe the whole idea is that because he's a cultural activist, he might know the players and he might understand the actual game, and so he'll be able to put together the soup. I don't really know.
I wish him all the best.
Because CDF if you look at the FRC, you can say it's similar about CDF. CDF is supposed to be in charge of cultural development foundation.
I don't want to bring up CDF because we were not talking about CDF specifically, but it's the same issue.
It's a cultural activist who's in charge of it the same way. He used to be at the FRC, right? Boots Samuel, and to the point where their biggest responsibility, which used to be Carnival, is no longer their responsibility the past 2 years.
So it begs the question, exactly
doing?
Why do you have these people in these positions? If you put them in a position to do a certain job and you find that they're not doing it up to the level that you expect them to do it.
As they are, in their opinion, recording marked successes in that La Marguerite and La Rose celebrations this year had, record attendance from young people from schools.
If I'm in a job, and I will not say, well, what I've been doing has been an abysmal failure. I'll say, okay, well, we had successes here and there. I'll highlight the positive. I'll not tell you, okay, well, we screwed up here and there.
Well, no, I mean, the reality is that losing Carnival was a big loss to them, and they've never, denied that. Made it seem like losing it was a significant loss. it's sort of lack of confidence in the organization and everything else. But at the end of the day, what you have to do as an organization is set out bound. What am I trying to accomplish?
Exactly.
And if you accomplish, you know, your thing is trying to get the National Arts Festival done this year, that was done. Your aim is to try to get, you know, they're celebrating Music Month. They're going to have 3 panel discussions on NTN live on television for people to actually talk about the music industry and actually developing a music industry. They're doing that. St. Cecilia's Day observances are supposed to be a creative industries thing. We'll see how that goes on the 22nd of this month. So you're looking at all these things and seeing what you want to accomplish. Have you accomplished them? Because everything, the poles have shifted. You're no longer doing carnivals. So you must look at everything else that you're doing.
So,
and I mean, there are those who argue
focused.
You should just amalgamate FRC and CDF under one umbrella and just do one thing, because aren't they both the same entities? People say. I don't really know.
Yeah. I mean, CDF is directly in the government as far as I'm concerned, and FRC is more independent.
Yeah,
like
it's more like an
national
RSL,
trust.
you know, exactly. You get government funding, but you are supposed to be independent.
Exactly, supposed to be independent. But the last thing I want to say on that point is, I mean, the Prime Minister has not answered a lot of questions.
In relation to Dr. Japir?
No, about a lot of things. He has not, it's a year, almost a year.
It's over a year.
No, almost a year, December, is it? When was the election? Anyway,
in November.
November 28th, right,
Yeah.
that's it. So it's almost a year, and he has not had one press conference. Now, I thought that was very good that the Prime Minister used to hold regular press conferences in his first term. I think he has opted this bad habit that Stephenson King had, former Prime Minister Stephenson King.
I would not say it was a bad habit. In all fairness, I think that being a Prime Minister, I'm a news editor. And I know that I'm a news editor. I get to work at 8:30 in the morning. I leave at 7 at night. And that's just my little one job as a news editor. And because of my commitment and the level of work that it requires, I have to spend that long doing it. So I can just imagine being a Prime Minister of a country when you're traveling and you have all these things that it may not be a priority. But in fact, the Prime Minister has held one press conference. He has held a press conference. Remember when he announced the Black Bay Lands deal? It was in a press conference at his office. He actually had the press there. He made the point about the Black Bay deal.
I missed
so
that
he
one.
did have. He already had one press conference. I mean,
but I just hope that he does not adopt. And I can
because
see
the other ministers have had press conferences
it's a bad habit that Stephenson King had, where he would not speak unless you corner him. And that's not right. We should not be cornering our ministers, our elected representatives.
Well, I mean,
they should be coming to us and reporting to us what they've been doing, what they've been engaged in. Because this is why we elected them.
Exactly.
We don't want you to do something behind closed doors and we know nothing. Exactly.
But I mean, the whole idea is when you're calling for press conferences, there is an argument for a press conference. If you had a press conference like you have the White House press briefings, then reporters have an expectation of being able to see you. So they're not going to ambush you before you get to the house or on your way to your office and whatever. And then you don't have some media houses feeling left out because some media houses get some. So there is that. Because there is something. I remember when Guy Joseph was a minister in government, he would say to reporters, I don't do interviews by the side of the road. Because as a minister, it kind of diminishes you to have a bunch of reporters running you down the side of the road to do an interview. But at the same time, do you give them access to you on your office? So that being said, I think what we have to do now is to establish that you need to put in place press secretary structures, press structures. I mean, the White House has an actual press office, and it's being manned by a team of people who can answer questions or pass you on who they need to and hold conferences when they need to. But if you do not have that structure in place, you cannot possibly. Do you have a room to have a press conference? Do you know who's coming to the press conference? All that stuff needs to be established, and people see it as when these jobs are appointed, people get so they greet it with such cynicism, such they're giving him or her a blight because you're a party hack or whatever. These jobs are important. I'm telling you, Clinton, I'm in the media as a you. People do events in St. Lucia all the time, right? They spend thousands of dollars on the stage, on the artists, on the advertising.
And nothing on media and communications.
Nobody ever thinks about media and communications. Then they wonder, why isn't my event successful? Who knows you're having an event? They always think about it after the fact. No, the media and marketing of your event is as important as, because that is what's going to get people to your event. It's the same thing. If you have an established press office, then you can have a continuous relationship with members of the press. You can set up press conferences. You can have a press room. Because as far as I know right now, the only place they do press conferences is in the GIS recording, in the GIS studios where they actually record the actual programs. So all that stuff is part of it as well.
Now, I want to make a point, then some people might take offense to it. You know, I like Jadia, and I think she works hard.
You mean more offensive than you saying that the former Prime Minister was being called into interviews? Because that's pretty offensive.
No, but it's true. You know, but it's true when you have to try to track somebody down to for an interview. No, and try to say, oh, that person is there.
But you have to understand
let me go there and I'll catch him. That's our approach, you know.
Yeah,
let me go there and I will catch him.
But that's my point. Do they know any better? Do they have people to tell them better?
I like JD, and I think she's doing, you know, a decent job. She's working hard. But you need somebody who understands the media in a position like this. You know, in other countries, you have a former, like, look at the U.S., for example. Everybody who has occupied the press secretary position is a former press person.
Yes.
So these people understand the press, what their requirements are.
A journalist is a special kind of person. You have to be one to actually get it. That's just the truth.
Yeah. I mean, Kami says her hours are 8:30 to 7. When I was a news editor, my hours were like 8:30 to 10 at night.
Yeah, because you never fully out of work.
Yeah.
Your phone is always on.
You're always
when something
working.
happens, you up and you have to be on. Because people, when you leave the office and you're going home, if you stop at the supermarket, somebody asks you about a story, you can't say I'm off the clock. I'm never off the clock. If in my position right now, if I do not want to talk to people, I stay at my home. Because you don't have the right to say to somebody who's watching you and listening to you that I cannot talk to you because I'm so busy. What are you busy doing? They're the reason why you have a job, because your job is to educate them. And so it's the same thing. I take your point. What I like about Jadia is that she's open. She has established relationships with every media house.
And that is why I said she's doing a good job.
You can always get her. And that is an important thing. If you BB her or you have her on Facebook or you call her, you will get her. And access is important. And if she can, she will always tell you, I will talk to and I will get back to you, whether it's a minister or the prime minister. So she's already way ahead in my estimation because she's willing to learn and she's learning pretty quickly and she's open and she has access, because there's nothing more frustrating than trying to get the prime minister and you can't get him, and the minister of this and you can't get him, and the press secretary you can't. No, so you then you have to go and hunt him down and ambush him because you don't have a choice. You can't find anybody.
And that is why I said, you know, I think she's doing a pretty decent job in that position, but you know, not coming from that background. You know,
I take your point, but sometimes
it has to take a special person.
Journalists tend to be very cynical as well, and you know, and then when you put a journalist in there, you become like George Stephanopoulos. That's why he quit. You know, pretty soon after becoming, you know, Clinton's press secretary, President Clinton, because he was just so like, seriously, that's your question? You know, because if you were a journalist and you used to actual questions, you wouldn't look down on, because we can't help it. We naturally have this slight hints of condescension in our profession as well. The whole idea of that's the best you can do. You have one question to ask me, that's all you have? Come on, really?
I know we're due for a break. We're way past time for a break. Let's take a break right now. A quick one, and we'll come back. We'll do a wrap up on the Press Club. Kami Joseph with me, Clinton Reynolds. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.